المصطفى بلغ مقاصدنا. Oh my Creator, oh Allah, fulfill our aims in life, Allah. Forgive our sins, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, the most gracious. Oh Allah, the most gracious. Ya Wasi'al Karami. Oh Allah, the
بسم الله الرحمن
most
الرحيم.
gracious.
الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على عبده ورسوله الأمين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن اهتدى بهديه واستنى بسنته إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. We're still studying the minor signs of the hour, and there are 10 major signs that I believe, inshallah, if Allah prolongs in our lives, that we will be discussing them next week. There are so many minor signs, but I'm trying to collect and share with you those that are related to our lives and that people can relate to. For example, one of the signs of the hour was mentioned in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ when he said, the time will be short, meaning the periods of time will come closer to each other, would be short, knowledge would be extracted and uplifted, and tribulations and tests will appear widely and will prevail, and people would be stingy and miserly. They will all hold back their fortunes and their giving charity and being kind to people, and killing would be spread all over the place. So this is a sign which is time becoming shorter. This is very apparent. We can all feel that and relate to it. We always complain that there is no time, there isn't enough time to do things. And not only that, the Prophet ﷺ told us in an authentic hadith that the hour would not be called, it would not be the day of judgment, until time is so short that a year feels like a month, and a month feels like a week or a Friday, and a week or a Friday feels like a day, and a day feels like an hour, and an hour feels like what the time takes to ignite a match or to start a fire. So look at the match when you light it and it soon is extinguished. This is how an hour would feel. Nowadays it's the same thing. Subhanallah, ask anyone about last Ramadan and they would tell you, subhanallah, as if it was yesterday. Ask the people about this Ramadan and when it was announced that today is the beginning of Ramadan, and they say, subhanallah, as if it was moments ago. Today is the 13th of Ramadan, yet people, subhanallah, feel as if it's the first or the second day. So time flies. And as stated before, a lot of the people complain and they say we don't have time. You have time. Then why do we feel like this? Well, scholars say there are a number of reasons for time to be so short and things happen so fast. One of them, scholars say that it is due to means of transportation. A distance that you would cover in a month, now you cover it in less than an hour by plane. Due to mass communication means such as the internet, the phones. Now you can talk, I'm from Saudi Arabia, I can speak to someone in Canada through a Skype, and I'm supposed to give a lecture after Eid in the UK through Skype, as if I'm there attending questions and giving my lecture. So it made the whole world a small place, so time runs so fast we cannot catch up with it. Other scholars say, well, this is clearly an indication that at the end of the time, Allah Azza wa Jal would take away the blessing from our lives and from our times. And this is noticeable. When I read, for example, in the biography of Imam al-Nawawi, and see that the scholars calculated the number of pages he wrote throughout his life, adulthood life, and they found that it is approximately 40 pages a day. Imagine someone writing, compiling and writing something that is completely new, 40 pages a day, the whole of his life. This is the average, which means that sometimes he would write like 200 pages or more. What time did he have to sleep? And if we know that he used to pray night prayer most of the night, and he used to fast a day and skip a day, he alternates, and he used to recite the Quran and finish so many khatmas, and he used to teach in the masjid, in the school, and he used to have like many students, and he would write these 40 pages a day. And if you look at us nowadays, we can barely find time to do any of one of these things. Why? Because Allah has taken the blessing, the barakah from our lives. And whenever you talk to anyone, why don't you do this? I don't have time. Why don't you visit your next of kin? I don't have time. Why don't you take your kids here or there? I have no time. It was reported that a businessman in his 40s, and his father was in his 70s, and there was an appointment together that the son would come to pick up his father at 12 o'clock, just before Dhuhr. And the son could not make it due to business and meetings and so on, and he was carried away until it was 1 o'clock. And when he remembered, he rushed to his father's house to find his father standing outside the house in the sun in the middle of the summer. And he tried to apologize, but the father was so mad and angry, he would not talk to him. He would only tell him, get in the car. So the son got in his fancy, beautiful, luxurious car, and the father rode next to him. And he told him, go straight. And the son's trying to ask where? He said, don't ask, just go. So he goes right, left, according to what his father is telling him to drive. And then they reached the cemetery. So the father said, stop here, get out. And the son started to feel scared. Why? He said, just get out and walk. So he took him to the middle of the cemetery, and the boy was shivering. He thought that his father is going to kill him or do something and bury him. And then the father looked at his son and said, my son, look around you. What do you see? And he looked around him and he saw thousands and thousands of dead people, graves, nothing. And the son and the father told his son, my son, look at those in these graves. All of them died with work still unattended. And this is a fact. There will never come a time that we would say, Alhamdulillah, now I'm free. I don't have anything to do. Every moment carries some work, some responsibilities. So no one would actually die with his desk clean, with no papers to sign, with no project to complete, with no debts to pay, with no duties to carry. Everyone would die being short from completing what he wanted to complete. And that is why a proper and wise Muslim would prioritize his tasks. You cannot finish everything at the same time. So you have to put your priorities and set them and follow them accordingly. Only then you will find the blessing in your life, in your time, and you would find something that you can utilize. The barakah has been extracted because we don't have knowledge, because we have no problem in consuming haram and abandoning mandatory things such as prayers, fasting. We do lots and lots of things that please us, but we always neglectful about the things that please Allah Azza wa Jal. And that is why the barakah is only in the hands of Allah. And the issue of barakah is very vast and big. This is not the time to speak about it, but it is essential to know that barakah comes only from Allah. Seeking it from anyone else would be disastrous. Among the signs of the hour, the widespread of riba. And what is riba? Riba is what is known as usury, and it is the interest incurred over a loan. And this is one type of it, because there are different types, and talking about it also would not be suitable for this signs of the hour. It would be probably good in Ask Huda or in any other fiqh classes. But generally speaking, what the banks are doing now is considered to be riba. They give you 100,000, you pay it 120,000. This is riba, clear riba. Money for money, there is an extra because of the loan. What does the Prophet tells us, alayhi salam? Ibn Mas'ud, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, may Allah be pleased with him, the companion of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, said that the Prophet said alayhi salatu wasalam, just before the hour, riba, which is interest, will appear, and also fornication and consuming intoxicants. These three have already appeared. So we know that the hour is soon, Allah knows when, but we know it is approaching. And I'm talking about the Muslims. Now, if you look at the implication of riba, you can look at what happened in 2008, the credit crunch, 2007, 2008, the credit crunch, the foreclosures, the people that lost their houses, the people that lost their businesses, the people who are homeless, not in Thailand or in Senegal. I'm talking about people in Europe and in America. Why did they lose everything? Because everything was based on riba. I'm not talking about these people, I'm talking about the Muslims. When the Muslims start to deal with riba, then you have a problem. And I do not know Muslims who do not deal in riba. Most countries have their economy based on riba, if not all countries. Most countries don't have Islamic banking. They don't allow Islamic banking. And some of them do allow it, but they are so little. Of course, alhamdulillah, with the grace of Allah, the Islamic banking is on the rise. And even the non-Muslims are headed to Islamic banking because of the low risk and the sustainable profit and the Islamic way of dealing with it. There is no extortion, there is no handling of intoxicants, smoking, arms, or entertainment. All of these are haram in Islam. So that's why you find Islamic banking away from it. The Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, there will come a time, and this is in the Sahih, there will come a time when people do not care whether they get their money from halal or haram. And this is exactly what's happening nowadays in the Muslim world. You find people working in haram. You find people working in banks, and they deal in riba, and they give clear riba, and they sign these contracts knowing that the Prophet had cursed, alayhi salatu wasalam, those who deal with riba, giving and taking, and those who write and document it, and those who witness it. All of these are cursed, and the Prophet said they are all the same in the sin. Subhanallah. You would find people working in things that promote fahisha, promote fornication, promote being distant from the Quran and the Sunnah. People working in OSN, for example, networks that publish videos, movies, entertainment, everything that is haram, they publish it, and you pay money to get the cable or to get the receiver or the decoder in your house and watch it, as if Allah is not watching you. Those who work in these companies, don't they know that they have a day of judgment and Allah Azza wa Jalla will hold them accountable? My reckoning is they don't. Otherwise they would not have worked. Some of them do. They pray, they fast, but at the same time As the Prophet said, there will come a time where people do not care whether their income is from halal or from haram. This is exact what we are seeing at the moment everywhere. Now, a lot of the ignorant would be impressed by the filthy wealth of these multi-billionaires who own banks, who own entertainment companies, and they are astonished by their lavish style of living. Like Qarun and his people, when they said, we wish we were like him, subhanallah. However, don't be impressed, because this wealth is a mean of torment to them, as Allah stated that twice in Surah At-Tawbah, chapter 9, where Allah says that do not be impressed by their children, offspring, and their wealth. Merely, Allah wants to torture them. It's a means of torment for them in this life, and they are disbelievers. This is about the hypocrites, and these people have a share of that. So, no matter how billions and millions you have, as long as you are investing it in haram, don't be impressed. Maybe they will take 1%. Definitely it would not even reach 0.001% of their wealth, and give it to the poor, give it to the beggars, give it to whoever come to them and extend their hands, and they give it, and they think that, okay, this erases that. But it's not like this. Do not be impressed. The Prophet tells you, alayhi salatu wasalam, that do not be impressed by the magnitude, the amount of riba, because no matter how huge it is, eventually it will be reduced into nothing. So this is actual. If you have billions of dollars in your hands, and if you have these riba-based financial institutions, banks and whatever, and you're lending people with riba, and you're taking riba, and you're depositing your money in riba, and you're collecting all of this, do you think Allah Azza wa Jal is blessing you because you're a good Muslim? Allah Azza wa Jal is enlarging your wealth because you are one of His favored, pious, righteous servants? No. Allah Azza wa Jal is giving you a way so that you would increase in sin. When you go back to Him, you will find what you were fooled with this glamorous life. So we have to stay away from these interest-based institutions. One would say, Alhamdulillah, I don't have any problem. Yes, you have a problem. Don't you have a credit card? Visa, MasterCard, American Express. They all charge you riba. You sign a paper, you sign a contract that if the grace period is over, whether it's 40 or 45 days, and I don't pay what I've bought by credit, then they will charge you 4%, 7%, and it accumulates until you are enslaved for them. Signing the contract, though you did not borrow in riba, signing the contract by itself is an approval and agreement that you agree and approve of riba. And this is a major sin. So look at the people in the West, those who bought their houses on mortgage. This is haram. They say, yeah, but we're living in America, we're living in UK, we have to buy. You don't have to buy. You can live your entire life on rent. But when you buy a house on mortgage, on riba, then you have made riba halal. And the rate fluctuates, meaning that the house I bought is £100,000. 10 years down the line, I would discover that it went up to 120. Why? They said, well, the inflation rate has gone up and gone down, so we have to charge you this, and you keep on paying interest until you die. This is riba. This is haram. Allah Azza wa Jal made this one of the major sins in Islam. Moving on to a third sign of the hour, the Prophet says, alayhi salatu wasalam, at the end of the time, there will be landslides, stoning from the sky, and transmutation into animals, or disfigurement or deformity. When would this happen? The Prophet says, alayhi salam, when stringed instruments and female singers will be widespread, and wine will be permitted. Two things. And these are the signs of the hours. One of them, wine would be permitted. We spoke about that yesterday. And we know that the majority of Muslim countries serve alcohol freely and sell it and buy it, no problem. So we have to ask those doing this, Is it halal? If they say yes, it's halal to buy it and sell it, in this case they're not Muslims. They have committed an act that nullifies their Islam. And if they say no, it's haram, we know that it's a sin, but we have to do this, then it's a major sin and they will be punished, but they're still Muslim. The second sign is alayhi salatu wasalam telling us when the stringed instruments and female singers will be widespread. Open any TV station in the Muslim world, you will find it dominated by women singing, and this is haram in Islam. You will find music stores widely spread. Open the radio, turn on the radio and listen to it. You'll find music round the clock. Turn on the TV stations, you'll find music round the clock. What is this? And they say, it's an issue of dispute. No, it's not an issue of dispute. The hadith is crystal clear in Sahih al-Bukhari. No one can doubt this. And whoever doubts this has no knowledge of this deen in the science of hadith. The hadith is authentic in Sahih al-Bukhari. And the consensus of the four schools of thought, you have to be a follower of one of them. Abu Hanifa, Malik, Shafi'i, and Ahmad bin Hanbal. They all agree that musical instruments are forbidden. The Hanafi school of thought went to a little bit more extreme, and they said whoever enjoys listening to music is a kafir. But this is extreme. The most authentic opinion is it's a sin. But when I say it's a sin, people think, oh, alhamdulillah, it's a sin. Okay, we can do it. It's not a major sin, so we can do it. Yeah, let me tell you something. The least person to be punished in hell is a person that the Prophet told us about. So let's assume you fornicate, you drink intoxicants, you smoke, you don't pray on time in masjid, but you pray. You're a Muslim. But on the Day of Judgment, let's assume that Allah forgives every single thing except smoking. And Allah wills that you are punished for this single sin. Everything else, Allah forgave you, except smoking. What is the punishment? The Prophet tells us, that the least person punished in hell on the Day of Judgment is a person who has a fiery stone, a stone of fire, placed in his sandal, in his foot, and his brain boils from its heat. So his body is conducting heat. This is the least one to be punished. So akhi, when it comes to a sin and you say listening to music is okay, it's a sin, be careful, because if Allah wanted to take you with this sin, you are doomed. And one would say, why is music haram? Music is beautiful. Music brings joy to the soul. When I go to bed, I listen to Bach. Sometimes I listen to Beethoven or Mozart, and I feel nice. When I go to an opera, I feel sophisticated. When I go to a ballet, I feel, mashallah, that this is a beautiful portrait of art. So why is music haram? You Muslims don't like music. You have hard hearts, and you don't have a taste. No, it's not this at all. It is a question of being independent and depending and relying only on Allah Azza wa Jal. A brother came to me in the masjid after Fajr a couple of days ago, and he was asking me about so many questions, and among the questions he said, I pray, I fast, I do everything, but I just love music and I love to break dance. And I was shocked because the man is praying, the young man is praying Fajr with us. So I told him, it is haram. He said, is it haram or makruh? I heard that it is makruh. And after talking to him, I found out that his religion, his Islam, is based on I heard and I heard. He doesn't know the Quran nor the Sunnah. He doesn't read. So and the majority of Muslims are like this. I heard that this thing is halal. And this is not sufficient. As a Muslim, you have to take your religion from the Quran and from the Sunnah. So I told him that music is bad, that music does this to you, it controls your life. Allah Azza wa Jal stated in the Quran, speaking to shaitan, to the devil. He is telling him, provoke them with your sound. Mujahid says his sound is musical instrument, it's singing. And you can find this, the power you get when you work out in the gym, if you do your aerobics, if you are working out and you're listening to music, you find so much power. Once you turn it off, 40% of your power is gone. Why? Because your power is not coming from Allah Azza wa Jal. This is driven by shaitan, meaning that shaitan is giving you this. And look at the music we have, whether it is punk rock, whether it's heavy metal, whether it is jazz, blues, whether it's green grass or whatever they call it, bluegrass. Well, I'm colorblind. Bluegrass or whatever. Look at the lyrics. Is it promoting the love of Allah? Is it promoting piety or righteousness? Is it promoting that you do good things? It all promotes love, desires, lusts, women, killing, violence, drugs. So it does not go side by side to Islam. The brother said to me, well, I'm addicted to it, I cannot leave it. And I told him, this is Ramadan. And Ramadan is the month of anti-addiction. And that is why the halal things, food and drink and intimacy with the spouse, all of these become forbidden during the daytime of Ramadan. Why? It's good to eat, yes, but Allah Azza wa Jal wants you to clean your system, wants you to kick the habit for His sake. And He wants you not to be addicted to anything, even halal food. So your addiction to music, your addiction to hip-hop, your addiction to whatever, this is an indication that your slavery is not 100% to Allah Azza wa Jal, and that you have a problem. So the Prophet is telling us, alayhi salatu wasalam, that when we see these musical instruments, when we see the women singers, and we have them in the hundreds and the thousands with lousy voices, but beautiful makeup. So they look good. When you see them on screen, when you see them on the satellite channels, you look at them, but you don't listen to them, because they look more than or better than they sound. This is a sign of the hour. What will happen? The Prophet is giving us a dire warning, a very serious warning. When this happens, when you have this, then there will be three things that will come to our ummah, to the Muslims. And that is landslides or earth collapsing. So this is not earthquakes only, and you have to have the landslides, and you find towns and people and things collapsing. And you will have also stoning from the sky over a people as a punishment, and you will have transmutation into monkeys, into pigs, as the things that took place with the Jews before. It will come, but this time to the followers of Muhammad ﷺ, who refuse to follow him and follow their lusts instead. We have a short break, and then we will take your phone calls. Stay tuned.
Oh Allah, fulfill our aims in life, Allah.
There is an American sister who is very active in Da'wah in Egypt, told me personally that she traveled between Buddhism and Christianity and different sects, and when she came to read the Quran, she started by reading from right to left, Surah Al-Fatiha. She said, I swear, once I finished it, I fainted. I could not believe myself that there is such book that people were so negligent and ignorant about. That has to be the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And she said, I accepted Islam simply after reading Surah Al-Fatiha and knowing
the first chapter, 7 verses.
7 verses.
The Arabic itself, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke the Quran. So this is by itself is a medicine.
It is the word of
It's
Allah.
a word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It goes into the heart.
It was not created, rather Allah spoke it out.
Ramadan nights be blessed with welfare and forgiveness. Ramadan, Ramadan, Ramadan.
You can't do that because you do not know what to say to them sometimes. At least you raise up your hand. and ask Allah, oh Allah, please give guidance to this brother of mine, the importance of following Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. To follow our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam means you must understand his sunnah. Adinu Yusrun, Islam is a very easy religion, simple religion. So don't make religion difficult to yourself. I believe this hadith is very common to all of us. But the beauty part of this hadith, number one, it started by Umar al-Khattab saying, Sami'tu. Now again, I'd like to share with the brother and sister to understand the beauty of this saying of the companion.
Oh my Creator, oh Allah, fulfill our aims in life, Allah.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back. The lines are open and I believe that you will find inshallah the numbers at the bottom of your screen if you have any questions related to the topic. And until we get your calls, we go move on to one other sign, and this sign is very visible and it's a specific sign. The Prophet told us alayhi salatu wasalam that at the end of his ummah, which means close to the hour, there will be naked, or there will be clothed women yet naked. So how can you have this? Well, let's listen to two hadiths, and if time permits. The Prophet says alayhi salatu wasalam that at the end of the time there will be men riding saddles as big as tents or houses, which is an indication to cars. So the Prophet is telling us that there will come, and not only that, he says, and they will come and dismount at the gates of the masjids. And this is exactly what we're doing. We're driving until the gate of the masjid and we park our car and leave. And the Prophet is further describing their women. He says, their women are clothed yet naked, and on their heads it is like the hump of a camel. And I've seen this in the Emirates, and I've seen this in a lot of the Gulf states, where women wear their abaya, but they wear their hair as a bun on top of their heads, and when you see them, it's exactly like the Prophet ﷺ described. Aisha from Nigeria?
Yeah.
Yes, sister, what can I do for you?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa
Yeah, assalamu alaikum.
Salam tullah.
Yeah,
Mute your television and listen to me from the phone. Mute your television and listen to me from the phone.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, what's your question?
Okay, I have no idea. I want to ask you a question. If it's permissible for me to lead in the Ashram?
To live
Because
where?
is around, and I have the women around me, if I can lead them.
You can lead if you. Your question is, can you lead the women in Taraweeh?
If I can lead, because we are all women in the house, if
Okay.
I can lead the Taraweeh prayer.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I will answer your question.
Can I lead the Taraweeh if I'm the only woman in the house? Can I?
Yes, I understand the question. Any more
I can
questions?
lead. Okay.
Okay.
I also want to ask again if it's permissible for as a woman to wear attachment in my hair and protect my knees. Is it permissible to pray like that?
What kind of attachment? Another hair?
Like, yeah, but not human hair.
Okay.
Yeah, it's another hair, but not human hair. But this one is like a synthetic hair and painting of my fingernails.
Okay, I will answer your question, inshallah. Okay, we have.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello.
A second question, a caller from. Yes, my friend.
Hello.
Yes, your name is.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Yes, sir. I'm from
Your line is breaking. Asif from Libya. Yes, brother Asif. Can you go to a place where a better reception for your mobile?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is it fine right now?
Yes, now it's okay. Yes, brother, what can I do for you?
Sir, actually, I have 3 questions.
Okay.
The first question is, during Salah, how to keep, where exactly to keep our hands on the chest while reciting Surah Fatiha? Can you just show this to make it confirm?
How to make what?
How, while reciting Surah Fatiha,
Yeah.
we have to keep our hands on the chest. So where exactly we will keep it on the chest? And this is,
Okay.
how to, where to keep the hand on the chest?
Okay. And second question?
And the second question is, do we have to be very specific while calculating the zakat amount? For example, I am in India and now I am located in Libya. So I have some gold of my wife. So my zakat is takriban $320 or $300. So can I make it roughly 400 or I have to be very much specific in giving the zakat?
So you would like to add a little bit more to the amount of zakat?
Yeah. Actually, my amount is maybe 300 approximate, but just to be on the safer side or just to get, now can I make it 400?
Okay.
And the third question is, Zakat al-Fitr. In fact, I don't know anybody in Libya, so can I give Zakat al-Fitr also in India? And is it immediately before Eid al-Fitr or I can give right from now, maybe after 5 or 10 days?
I will answer your question.
And sir, I love you because I like it so much.
Jazakallah khair. Alaykum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ijaz from Dubai. Ijaz.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Salam tullah.
Sheikh, I have a question. Actually, I had taken a loan from HSBC Bank 4 years back, which they claim this is a Sharia compliant section. They say it is a profit based, not interest based. Did I do sin by taking this loan? Can you clarify this, please?
I cannot.
Because
I have to know.
I always think that I committed a sin from this.
Brother Ijaz, I cannot tell you whether it's good or bad unless I know exactly what the transaction was about. So did they sell you something?
They have a certificate from the Sharia code. It is a Sharia compliant.
Yeah, everybody has certificate. Now you have halal fish. It tells you halal fish as if we've slaughtered fish. Everybody laughs and jokes about this. But what is the actual transaction? Did they sell you something and then you're paying it in installments?
Yeah, I did pay it in an installment.
Yeah, but you did not buy anything from them?
I took the car from that loan.
Okay, I will answer your question, inshallah. Amna from? Nigeria.
I'm from Nigeria.
Yes, Sister Amina, what can I do for you? Sister Amna? Sister Amna, listen to me from the phone, not from the TV. Hello? Well, I think we've lost Sister Amna. Aisha had 2 questions. One, what's the ruling on a woman leading other women in prayer or in Taraweeh? The answer is completely permissible. And the woman stands in between them, not in front of them like the men. So the woman stands in the same row with other sisters and she leads them in prayer in Taraweeh. No problem in that, alhamdulillah. She's asking about attaching something to her hair. If that thing she's attaching is like ribbons and when I see it, I know immediately it is cloth. Okay, Amna from Nigeria.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum.
Salam wa rahmatullah.
My question is, in my working place, we form a cooperative society.
Okay.
In our cooperative society, we contribute money. And at the end of the day, at the end of the month, we loan out that money to ourselves. And we do put interest. And that interest, we do share it for ourselves. That's my number 1 question.
What do you do with the money?
Is
Amina, what do you do with the money? Yes, when you collect the money, and do you invest it in something?
Now,
what do you invest it in?
when we collect the money, we share it to ourselves.
Okay.
Among ourselves.
So why do you do this?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Why do you do this? Why do you collect the money?
Assalamu alaikum.
Why do you collect the money among yourselves? Well, I think we've lost Sister Amina. So attaching something to your hair, a female, if it's something that is made of cloth or ribbons or colorful, brown, yellow, red, people know that these are ribbons. So this is no problem. The problem is when it may deceive someone or a lot of people thinking that this is your hair, or this, they know that it is not your hair, but it looks like hair. This is haram. The Prophet cursed ﷺ those who do this to women, like the hairdressers, when they make them wear attachments that of natural hair or of artificial hair, and those women who allow this to happen to them. The Prophet cursed both, ﷺ. A wig also shares the same ruling. A woman wearing a wig, this is also forbidden, because anything that is related to the hair or looks like hair and you put it on your head, this is forbidden. Asif from Libya, he's saying putting the right hand on the left on the chest. How is that? There are two forms. One, either you hold your wrist like this with a fist. You hold it like this and put it on the chest, or you put your hand, you place it on the hand, the back of your hand, the wrist, and part of the arm. And the chest can be from here until the navel. And there are hadiths stating that the hands would be put under the navel, but they're not authentic. There are a lot of athar about the companions, about some of the scholars, but they do not reach the level of authenticity which the hadith Shaykh al-Albani authenticated. I think it's about narrated by Wa'il ibn Hujr, may Allah be pleased upon him, or may Allah be pleased with him, that the Prophet used to put his right over his left on the chest. So the chest is from below your neck until the navel. All of this is your chest. You can put your hands there without any problem. Secondly, he says that our zakat is like $300 plus. Can I pay $400? Akhi, you can pay $1,000. It's no problem. This is the limit you must pay. If you want to add to that, the sky is the limit, because this is all for the benefit of the Muslims, the poor, the needy. So you give them the money, this is permissible and you are rewarded for that. What's not permissible, if the zakat is $312 and you say, the $12 I will skip it and I'll just pay $300 to make it even. This is haram. He's asking that on Eid we have to pay zakat al-fitr. And as he is in Libya, he doesn't know anyone in Libya, so can he send his zakat to India? The answer is yes. But I doubt that you don't know anyone in Libya. Libya, there are lots of poor people in there. You can give it to them. If you don't know any organization or any person to take it, you may ask your people, your family, to give zakat al-fitr, providing they give it 2 to 3 days before your actual Eid prayer in Libya. If you prayed Eid and after half an hour they paid the zakat al-fitr, this is not acceptable. Brother Alqama from Oman. Brother Alqama?
Hello, Assalamu alaikum.
Or sister. Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Yes, sister.
I wanted to ask 2 questions.
Okay.
One is that it's regarding the supplication of starting eating the food. Is it Bismillahi wala barakatillah or just Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim?
Okay.
And the second question is, it's regarding Salatul Hajat. Is there any authenticity in this Salatul Hajat?
Okay.
Or we just have to pray 2 rakat misli?
Okay, I will answer your question, inshallah. Amna from Nigeria is back. Amna is gone. Okay. So Ijaz from Dubai, he's saying that he got a loan from HSBC in Dubai and he bought a car with it. And he's saying that 4 years ago, and he's still confused whether it was halal or haram. Akhi, 4 years is a lot of time for you to be doubtful. Why is it we are always doing something and then asking about it, and not the other way around? You never see someone going to the pharmacist and taking lots of antibiotics and drugs and medication, and then going to the doctor and say, listen, I had this pain and I took all of this. Is this okay? No one does this. You go to the doctor and then you take the medication. Likewise. But what's done was done. So he's asking, is it halal or haram? I cannot tell. Everyone nowadays produces a piece of paper and say, listen, this is Sharia compliance. I have a fatwa from the Sharia committee. I have this and that. You have to look into their transaction. Because a lot of these banks, and this was part of the signs of the hour that we talked about. We said that the Prophet told us that there are to come years of deception, where the liar would be believed and the truthful would be accused of lying, and where the trustworthy would be accused of treachery or treason or betrayal, while the one who is worthy of being treacherous or betraying people will trust him. Nowadays, banks that deal with riba, are they a place of trust? Definitely not. They are fighting, they are waging war against Allah Azza wa Jalla and His Messenger, as mentioned in chapter 2 in the Quran. Those who deal in riba. It's one of the greatest sins and major sins in Islam. So how can we trust them and say, yeah, okay, as long as you got a piece of paper, I'll believe you. You have to go to the scholars and ask them, is it applied as they have given the fatwa, or is it just only a certificate and they can put under it everything they wish? It's like nowadays we find in our markets fish that have certificates saying that it is slaughtered halal. Fish. Sometimes you have chicken with their heads connected to their body and saying slaughtered halal. The head is there. What kind of slaughtering is? Is it finger clipping? What kind of slaughtering is this? So we trust the people of betrayal. We trust the people of treason and people of deceit. So we should not be fooled easily like this. Now, if they owned the car, I went to a bank and the bank has a showroom, they have a garage filled with cars that they own, and I wrote a contract with them with a final and unchangeable price tag. So the car in cash, it's worth 100,000. I bought it for 150 in installments over 5 years. And the 150 cannot go up, no way. Even if I'm late in payment, whatever, 150 is 150. And we signed the contract and I took the car, this is halal. One other means is that when they sell you something they own, for example, you want 100,000 riyals a loan to buy a car, and they say we don't give loans, but we can sell you stock market shares. The value in cash is 100,000 and we'll charge you 120 in installments. So you say, okay, you buy it from them, you sell it on the market for 100,000, not to them, of course, someone else, definitely, because this is haram if you sell it to them again. And you take the money and you buy the car. This is halal. You buy iron, you buy precious stones, you buy something the bank owns before you came to him, not afterwards, before any commitment from your side. Other than that, I cannot answer whether it's halal or haram because I don't know the transaction. Aisha from Nigeria.
From Nigeria, I did.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. I asked two questions before. The first one, I'm very, very clear with it. But the second question, maybe you didn't remember to answer that one, the painting of fingernail, if it's permissible.
Okay.
Then for the first question again, the attached, I told you, is not human hair. Is this a synthetic that is like attached, but the one of color, is it permissible? I want to be clear with you.
Explain it again. I did not understand. What do you mean by attachment?
Okay, is this hair extension? Hair extension.
Okay, it looks like hair.
Hair extension of color is not the color of the hair.
But it looks like hair.
Permissible?
Okay.
Then the painting of fingernails with different colors.
Okay.
Is it also permissible? Salam.
Assalam to Allah. And we have Asia from Saudi Arabia. Asia from Saudi Arabia.
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Sheikh, I just wanted to ask who is collecting money in Saudi Arabia for Burma, I'm from Jeddah, so from where we can give money for Burma people.
Okay.
Okay?
Inshallah, I will answer your question, Zaki. Okay. Amina, I think her question was, what's the ruling on collecting money and then sharing it among ourselves? I couldn't understand why would people do this unless, if my understanding is correct, this is what some people do. I cannot collect 24,000 riyals in a year. So I meet with 12 other people and we decide that 12 months, each one of us would collect the 24,000 riyals by donating or giving 2,000 riyals per month. So I take first month, the first month they get their paycheck, each one gives me 2,000, 11 of them, this is 22, and with my 2,000, this is 24, I have 24, I can do things with it. And throughout the whole year, second month, I give 2,000, the third, the fourth, the fifth, until the 12th, I'm the one who's giving the 2,000 to other people who took their order within the full year length. This is halal. There is no riba, there is no interest. Actually, it's like me putting it in a wallet or in a safe, 2,000 riyals every month, and at the end of the month, I collect 24,000. And instead of doing this, I'm having it in the first month or the second or the middle, depending on it. So if this is the case, this is halal, inshallah. Okay. Okay, Brother Abdullah from Morocco. Abdullah from Morocco.
Khadija from Morocco.
Yes, what can I do for you, sister?
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Ramadan Mubarak.
And to you too as well, Jazakallah khair.
Please, Sheikh, I have one question.
Okay.
Can I travel with my 8 years old? My son is 8 years old. Can he be my Muharram?
Mahram.
Yes.
Okay, I will answer your question, inshallah.
Okay, Jazakallah khair.
Wa jazaki. Aisha from Saudi Arabia. Aisha? Okay. Alqama from Oman, he's saying, what is the supplication that we should say before we eat? The hadith of Amr ibn Salama, may Allah be pleased with him and with his father, Amr ibn Abi Salama, the stepson of the Prophet ﷺ. He said, I ate with the Prophet ﷺ and my hand was moving around the plate, not from in front of me. So the Prophet said to me, Ya ghulam, oh boy, Sammillah, say Bismillah, and eat from in front of you, and eat with your right hand. So what you're supposed to say is Bismillah. Is it permissible to add to that Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim? There are some narrations. I'm not sure at the moment of their authenticity, but what I'm sure of is that all scholars say that if you say Bismillah, this is enough. Do I say wa ala barakatillah? I don't know any authentic hadith that backs it up, and it would become an innovation unless there is a hadith to back it up. Other than that, it is not permissible. So what you should say is Bismillah, and this is sufficient. Also asking, she's asking about Salatul Hajjah. Salatul Hajjah, all the hadiths related to it are not authentic, and therefore it is not authentic. When you have something, even in your fard prayer, in your prostration, ask Allah for it, and Allah Azza wa Jal would respond to you. Aisha from Nigeria again called, what's the ruling on nail polishing? The nail polishing is permissible, whether you put any color you want, providing that you don't go out of the norm, providing that people would not look at you in your country and say, what is this? This is not good, this is strange, this is attracting. So for a woman, she's not allowed to wear nail polish if non-mahram men would see her. If she's in her community, among the women, among her mahrams, brothers, husbands, this is permissible. But you have to know that once you wear it, you cannot perform wudu. So if you want to pray and you did not perform wudu and you have your nail polish, performing wudu is not accepted. You have to remove it, because this nail polish or manicure makes a layer that prevents water from touching your nails, and that means your wudu is not accepted. So women usually wear them on when they have their menses. She's asking about attachment of the hair but different color. So if not me of course, if a woman you never know. If a woman's hair is black and she wears like brownish or blondish attachment of hair, is this permissible? No, it is not. As long as it has the feeling and the looks of hair, it is forbidden, even if the color was different. Asya says that who collects money for Burma in Jeddah? Unfortunately, the issue of Burma is not getting enough attention. Not because of race, not because of color, not because of difference of language, but this is the norm. Unfortunately, the media focuses only on Syria and what's happening there, and atrocities are taking place in Palestine by the Israelis. Atrocities are taking place in Burma, in Thailand, Fatani, in all over the Muslim world. You will find in China, where the Muslims are being heavily oppressed, and no one cares about them and nobody highlights what's happening to them. So for Burma, to my knowledge, WAMI collects for Burma, which is the World Association of Muslim Youth, and their location is at the intersection of Sittin Road and Palestine Road. And finally, last question, Abdullah from Morocco, she's saying, can I travel with my 8? Can we travel, or can she travel with her 8-year-old son? Can he be her mahram? And the answer is no. One of the characteristics of the mahram that he is sane and he's adult. So though he is aware of what's happening, but he's not an adult and he cannot be treated as such. Adulthood is known through one of the 3 characteristics. One of them is enough. Either he reaches the age of 15, or he ejaculates through nocturnal emission, or what is known as wet dreams, or the heavy and not soft hair that grows around his pubic area. If this happens, then he has reached the age of puberty and he is treated as an adult. This is all the time we have. Until we meet you next time, fi amanillah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Oh Allah, fulfill our aims in life, Allah. Forgive our sins, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, the most gracious. Oh Allah, the most gracious. Ya Wasi al-Karami. Oh my Creator, oh Allah, fulfill our aims in life, Allah. Forgive our sins, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, the most gracious. Oh Allah, the most gracious. Ya Wasi.